Namaste, my friend. Let us start some easy practice to withdraw the mind within before we take up the topic. Eyes are closed and place of the body. Become aware of the surrounding. Where are you sitting? Become aware of the position of the body. And the posture. Position and the posture should be comfortable. Position and the posture should be comfortable. And in being comfortable, you look mentally at the neck joint. Become aware of the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Become aware of the shoulder joints, and you stay there. Stay there means you are constantly aware of it. And experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Become aware of the entire body, from the top of the head to the toes. Sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Looking inside. When we say look inside the head or the heart, it is basically rise in awareness. So and then what we say, being carefree, thoughts are coming and going and you are watching. No thought takes you away from awareness. It is like a guard, the guard is sitting at the door, main door. He is not disturbing anyone, but he is watchful, watching who is coming and who is going. Similarly, you are aware, thought coming and going. Good thought coming, bad thought coming, good thought going, bad thought. You are not attached to it. You are just aware of it. Now we have reached to a state where we recognize we are an observer of the thought. We are not attached to the thought process. And we can feel this unwanted, undesirable, unwelcome thought that enters into the mind and dissolves there because we are not chasing them. and you are not disturbed by any thought. No thought can disturb us, but when we are attached to the thought, disturbances or pleasure begins. No, thought disturbs me. How can the thought disturbs you? If the thought is written on a piece of paper, the paper is not disturbed. The book is not disturbed. The Google is not disturbed. Similarly, we are an observer. We are an observer of this thought. In order to settle the mind, we settle the body again. So you are looking at the head and the neck, or if I say, moving the mind on the skin of the head and the neck, and experiencing sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Moving the mind on the right arm, to be specific, as if you are moving the mind on the skin of the right arm from the shoulder to the fingertips. And you experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Moving the mind on the left arm from the shoulder to the fingertips, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. The mind looking at the middle portion of the body from the shoulder down to the waist. This step helps to raise our self-awareness, as if we are preventing the mind to go out and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Now you are aware of the right leg, or moving the mind on the right leg, or moving the mind on the skin of the right leg from the right side of the waist to the toes. And experiencing sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Left leg. Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. The entire body, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. And we feel as if the mind is one-pointed. It is not focused on anything. It is not a concentration of psychology. It is a different type of concentration where the mind is naturally steady. And if we carry the mind on a journey to a little higher principle by the mantra, we have a rise in awareness. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. In that higher awareness, mind discovers the intrinsic nature of every being, that is happiness. When there is a fall in consciousness or awareness, we are more attached to the name and the label and the gender and the sex and the object, etc. When there is a rise in awareness, we perceive the one common existence in the form of the happiness is present. That is Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. So the peace is essential nature of you, all, me, everyone. Why? We are searching peace all the time. Who is searching? The mind. Where it is searching? Outside, and then frustrated. Searching inside means I have to transcend the senses and the mind. That is the meaning of moving within. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in our wholeness in all. We are already whole, but we feel we are not. That feeling comes from our frustration, anxiety, duality, and seeking of something outside in the world. That gives us the feeling of incompleteness, frustration, anxiety, duality, and a conflict. So again is the same thing, understanding. It is not moving inside does mean that you are moving inside the head or the physical heart. No, you are moving inside means you are rising in awareness. Your perception has changed. You are not bound and attached to the color form of the object. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all. Now in that state, looking at the breath that is going in and out, when the breath goes in, Om Shanti. When the breath comes out, Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Just open your eyes slowly. We are understanding the path of action, the karma yoga. We had done 2 sessions. It's very important that at least once a week you listen to these 2 talks and make it very clear. Last week and before that. The last week we talked about 2 ministers of a king. The king is wise, but it has 2 ministers. One minister always spoke sweet-sounding words to make the king happy. The other told him the unvarnished truth for the betterment not only of the king, but of his kingdom. That is the nature of the mind. So type 1, so mind embedded with these 2 kinds of ministers. When the mind searching for something sweet sounding pleasure outside. Sweet sounding pleasure outside. By thought, by speech, by action, it gives comfort but not happiness. And the second type of the minister or the mind, second nature of the mind is it sticks on what is right and good and the truth. It means the self-inquiry. In pleasure, we cannot do the self-inquiry. I cannot see what is wrong with me. Only in the mode of the self-inquiry, focused on what is right and good. So when I don't see the right and good, the first type of the mind dominates, then we are frustrated. It doesn't mean that we don't need the first type of the mind. We need. But there should be a balance. Balance the 2 begins the karma yoga. The path of the action, pleasure and the wisdom. But remember, excess pleasure beyond the limit causes frustration. What is beyond the limit? So I come to your home and I'm meeting you. My mind is constantly seeking my expectations of you praising me should be fulfilled. Now I keep that motivation. I don't see that you have invited me to your house, you have welcomed me, you have offered me the tea. Is it not good enough? But I have an over-expectation. So that over-expectation causes the frustration. Because when you are over-expecting, your mind is filled with the pleasure. But the other is not meeting your expectations. So you have a frustration. So your action, your thought, your speech, responsible for your frustration, your anxiety, your reaction, your duality, do you see that? I just gave an example. Over expectations. So my mind cooks a story that I'm going to my son's house and the son is going to sit with me, love me, respect me. But he might be busy in something. So you go there to express your peace and happiness. Your mind is not cooking a story. First type of the minister. First type of the minister is always seeking pleasure. sweet sounding word. So if I'm aware of the sweet sounding word, set first thing, and then I'm aware that the outside, in a situation, in a relationship, there is no happiness. So what I'm doing, I am starting to change the attitude of my mind inside. First, inside is very important. So when I become aware of that attitude, then I'm doing a normal activity. I'm not doing any activity out of the ego and out of the expectations. I'm not going to meet anyone with an expectation, with a result. No, no. I have done this for you and you should definitely appreciate me. Minimum appreciate. No, you don't see that. Because your attitude is expressing peace, giving peace and happiness. So when you change that attitude, the life changes. That is one of the most important factors of the karma yoga that we have covered in our last session. Understand clearly. Karma. Karma means action, a Sanskrit word, and karma yoga. So I have added the word yoga after the karma. So it means karma with yoga, and one is karma. So if I add any karma plus past impressions, habits, reactions, expectations of peace and happiness from the word, that is purely karma, because I have started expectations and it is going to frustrate me. Do whatever you want to do. And then what is the karma yoga? Karma yoga means that karma is done out of a discipline, calmness, offering, giving peace and happiness. In the first case, expecting peace and happiness. In the second case of karma yoga, you are ready in every situation, every condition, in every relationship of giving peace and happiness. Internally, you simply think. It is the law of cause and effect. Cause in the mind, intention in the mind, motivation in the mind. Law of cause and effect that affects our human behavior. As we sow, so we reap. Our actions will produce results, and future experiences, they are effects. My action is the cause, the way I think, the speak and act. So I did not act even before I have started thinking of expectation from you. So what is going to happen? That cause will change my speech and action also. It is going to affect my future experiences, cause in effect. Karma binds. So what happens? The karma binds people to the cycle of constant suffering. Karma yoga frees me. We are understanding slowly. Make very clear. Every choice we make by our thought, words or deeds, every choice. Say, you start thinking good of your son mentally and emotionally. That energy, that thought process is going to be expressed in action, and you have already set in motion a good energy. Even you have yet to go to the son's house. Just example. Meeting someone. So what it means that should I think good of everyone? Yes. Because when I should think good of everyone, when I'm thinking selflessly. I'm not expecting anything for myself. I'm expressing myself in the world. If I have that expectation, it means I'm acting selfishly, and that is going to create a negative, actionable energy behavior in my life. So that is what our master says. It is a selfless action. It's not a big deal. Don't take it in a different way. So when we say the selfless action, I check, do I have an expectation from anyone about my peace and happiness? Do I need an appreciation? You change that thinking process in your mind that let me offer whatever little peace and happiness I have. Let me withdraw my mind from expectations from the others. So you begin internally, even before meeting the person, that let good thing will happen, let everyone be happy, let everyone be in peace. See that? That is what the mantra we have just done. So what happens? That becomes selfless thinking, selfless speech, and selfless action. And you are always happy. But in order to reach to that, we need to think and speak and act out of a discipline. That is what we are learning. We need to consciousness is there, acting with the discipline, with the consciousness, with the detachment, rather than ego, fear, or compulsion. Are you understanding the difference between the karma and the karma yoga? Outer action is the same. But from where it begins, karma begins with ego, fear, and compulsion and expectation. And karma yoga begins with the inner attitude of givingness, discipline, consciousness. In karma yoga, you are not at all concerned about the result of your action. You have appreciated someone and you are not expecting a return. Sorry. In karma, your mind is over expecting. Excuse me. So we see when you follow the second step, that means you see the action, your thought, your speech, your action. Is devoid of expectations, ego, gain. You turn them, you change them into a giving mode. That in what way, maybe by the good words, let me appreciate this event, this person, instead of expecting. It's a very deep discipline, and I'm trying to make you understand in different ways until you are clear. I know the second session went very well. You expected. You sent me You said that, this is how I was feeling, and this is a wonderful session. So the karma is rooted deeply in the egoistic intention and attachment to the outcomes. It is obsessed with the outcome. When I go to meet someone and then I have a lot of expectations that changes my entire every cell of the body. The motivating factors are selfish desire, means over expectation of a specific result for the self. It may be the greed, it may be the pride. This leads to binding effect on the life experiences, and that causes lot of problems. But karma yoga arises from the selfless intention. You have a desire to serve others. You have a desire to discipline the mind and the sense organ. Out of that intention, you are acting in the world. So what happens? There is a sense of humility. There is a sense of clarity and the calmness in every activity in the world. So you are never frustrated. We have to see the differences and also the similarities between the two. One is karma, intention is different. One is karma yoga, the intention is different. Outer actions is the same. I will still say the namaste to you. Do I say namaste to you with an attitude of offering, with an attitude of giving? That will have a tremendous positive effect on me. And when I say namaste, I'm a teacher, with an egoistic attitude, that will have a different effect on me. Outside, same namaste. So both karma and the karma yoga center, the center of karma and the karma yoga, around the role of intentional action. They acknowledge that actions produce effect and it brings a big change in the behavior. Any action, both. But karma and the karma yoga involve action and acknowledge the causal effect that actions produce according to every action is actions produce according to the psychological principles that shape my life. I just gave an example. Outside namaste is the same, but what is my inside? What is happening? You can understand that way purely in a physical example. Giving money to a charity is a good thing. It is an outer expression. But what is our inner expression? Both karma and the karma yoga recognize the act of generously offering something to the people produce positive effect. However, karma is more focused on external material outcome. And the karma yoga is more focused on the internal dimension of, let me drop my egoistic intention, egoistic reward. Yes, this money has come from the existence and out of which I'm offering you a little. So this offering out of the humility will change your behavior and attitude. And No, I'm offering. You should teach me. Or whatever the case. So I'm offering the same giving money out of the selfishness, out of the ego. That will keep me disturbed. Even practicing meditation, you are doing practice of meditation. So before meditation, you simply say to yourself, I'm going to purify the mind completely today. I have no other intention. I will absorb myself. So every day you are saying it before meditation, before talking to someone, before acting outwardly. It is the part of the karma yoga. And karma means, let me do this casually. We are understanding karma. And what are the differences? The karma perpetuates binding effect. The mind moves in a cycle of frustration, expectation, pleasure, pain. It's the binding effect. Karma yoga liberates me. Karma yoga makes me free. I say namaste to you in a giving mode. So I'm not expecting the same from others. So whenever you are meeting your son and kids or anyone, your relations, first you set an intention that, I'm going there to express my peace and happiness to them so that they can also live the same kind of a life. Or rather than I am going there with some expectation, some blame and complaint. That is not going to help you. Setting the same in the right intention is going to change you a great deal. Just try it. Just try it mentally in a couple of the situations and let me know. So that is why every religion has an act of worship. We say, you go to the temple or the church and go there. But if that words in the worship is of a giving nature, it is going to give you better result, great reward than seeking something, expecting something from the God. Let thy be done. You already heard it. So karma yoga performs. So what is the I recognize my giving nature mentally and emotionally. Even if you are not giving anything, but you are giving peace and happiness. It expands the mind. It calms down the mind. You are donating money to somewhere. Are you donating out of the selfishness, or you are donating because, God has given me something and something more than I need, and hence I'm offering. So when I'm giving with an attitude that I have little more than I need, and that is what it is going to create such a positive impact in our mind. Let me go to this and give little more peace and happiness. Calm down, son. Another way to perform the karma every time you wake up in the morning and find out what is your rightful duty. Where is your rightful duty towards your body when you wake up in the morning? Make a choice. Correct it. So when you do the rightful choice to your body, to your mind, oh, I have enough time, so let me absorb into meditation. No, let me watch TV first. Switch on the channel, the same news, same crazy words spoken by those anchors. No, let me absorb myself first into the meditation. I will okay. So rightful duty towards your body, towards your mind, towards your emotions. And then the same. When you are before the son, let me play a role of a mother. When you are before your friend, let me play a role of a friend. Don't get too much involved. Involved means that now you have a selfish desire. What is that? I have an expectation of an appreciation. So my mind is set into the motion. And I'm waiting, and that appreciation doesn't come, then I'm frustrated. And so only the intention, outer action is the same. You're meeting, you're offering, you're giving. So we can convert every action, every karma into the karma yoga in every situation. Can you imagine the kind of a life we should have? So basically the karma yoga is a way to achieve freedom through selfless action. And the selfless action starts from the mental attitude. Mental attitude. And the mental attitude changes once you know the principle and you think of that in your mind in the beginning. And gradually you need not to think. That thinking means that you shift your motivation from the reward to attitude of service, attitude of giving, attitude of affection. You are in a mode to contribute and celebrate your life. Connect. Connect means, you're going to meet your son. So that is internally you are connecting, contributing. So what you are going to contribute today to, let me contribute my peace and happiness and calmness. And then let me celebrate. I return from them in celebration. You're doing the same thing. They have invited you for a lunch or a dinner, but internally your attitude has changed, and this is going to create such a great impact. This means that I'm acting selflessly without ego. I'm performing my action as selfless service. This is a selfless, I recognize. This is just by changing the mental attitude, yes. You change it and let me know. Selfless service without regard for personal self and its ambition. So what is going to happen? You release the attachment to the result, to the expectations. So you are releasing the attachment to the results. You are releasing the attachment and expectations from the others. That makes you a selfless action. It's not a big deal. So what happens then? Now you are thinking, speaking, and acting without worrying about the outcome in any situation. When you are worried about the outcome and the expectations, the ego is working behind, and the ego will constantly destroy you. It will make you frustrated in every situation, do whatever you want to do. That is the path of the karma yoga. So what happens, our masters teaches us, when you keep on doing the karma yoga like this, the time comes, your mind is able to see every thought, speech, and action as if it is a spiritual offering to the existence. What do you mean by the spiritual offering? That attitude is offering the thought, speech, and action. Take my example. I'm just giving that example. I'm speaking to you, and I invite the existence before I speak to you. So that existence plus my speaking to you offers you the calmness and peace. It becomes a spiritual practice. Internally, you are an epitome of the calmness. Externally, you express your action selflessly, and the life changes. No worries. I'm going to make you understand clearly, but the more and more, first, second, and the third. Today is the third lesson on the step 2. We have 2 more lessons that I have covered, so you have to listen to them and make a meaning out of it. If you don't have a meaning, let me know. So what happens, every action has few elements that makes every action or every karma is a karma yoga, and which purifies the mind. First, it is a conscious action, not habitual action. You bring full awareness and attention to whatever you do. Don't act mechanically. Even when you are eating, you are acting, act consciously. And the easy way, every time before you perform an action, you think mentally, I'm doing this action consciously to benefit everyone. So first is the conscious action. Second is the selfless action. I perform activities without regard of my ego. Instead, you act to benefit others rather than having a selfishness. I am doing the action, may like even, such an action, offering a cup of tea to anyone. You change your attitude inside. So you are adding that golden spice of that attitude into the tea. So that becomes a selfless action. But both are possible only when we have a self-discipline. Well, how it is that? So in the name of the self-discipline that you're doing the practice every day, listening every day, contemplating and reflecting. So what is going to happen by building a self-discipline? You build a willpower. So what to do with the willpower? The willpower prevents you from getting associated with the past impressions of frustration, anger, anxiety, and duality. So then what will happen? Then you discover this is an attachment. This is a detachment. First time you have already experienced that sense of detachment before. So what happens when you are thinking and speaking and acting free from the attachment? What happens? There is a sense of calmness inside. There is a sense of the joy in every situation. Situation may be very adverse in outside, but internally that sense of the calmness prevails. You are able to maintain that sense of the calmness. You are free from that anxiety and duality and conflict. So when we talk of karma yoga, it is a path of mindful action to freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from attachment, freedom from expectation, freedom from anxiety, freedom from reaction, from a long list. Can I say that the principle of the karma yoga means that every intentional choice and action sets energies in motion that produce effects. I have set emotion. I have set in my mind emotion to cheat or deceive someone. So that enters into my body, that is going to be expressed in behavior and action. Pitfall of karma. Where is the pitfall? When actions arise from my egoistic desire, selfish motivation, and out of the ignorance, they bind us. And that binding creates a vicious circle. Did it not happen to you a couple of times that someone you expected something from someone, but they did not meet your expectation, and you returned home and your mind started thinking about it, thinking for about a week, and after a week that impression weakens, and then you forget it. So it disturbed you throughout the week because your mind started that action out of the expectations. But now if you start every action with a selfless attitude, of giving attitude, what happens? There is a joy inside you. And that joy remains for about a week. That is why I said practice of karma yoga means consciously I offer the results of the action to the existence. That is another topic I'm going to take. What it means? It simply means that let me express my peace and happiness to you, but I should not expect any result. I should not keep my eye on the result, that you should appreciate me. So I leave, let me offer my peace, express my peace and happiness to you. And what about the result? What you will say? Let me leave it on the existence. So what is going to happen? You are happy before the action, you are happy during the action, and you are happy after the action. You don't carry any impression. You don't carry any impression. So you see, you be very clear that any action that I perform, I'm talking to you and expressing to you, guiding to you out of the peace and happiness, my peace will multiply. But if I teach and guide and mentor you out of burden, that burden will multiply. And the burden comes from the sense of the ego. So every cause has its effect. There is a cause, there is a principle of causality. Every volitional action seeds an energetic imprint and it ripens into a corresponding result of consequence. I am teaching out of the burden to you, for example. That burden will carry forward in the second teaching, in the third teaching, and the people will stop. Think. So it's a web, karmic, karma, actionable fruit. The results of the past choices that you have made, and the results of those past choices returns to haunting you, causing you the duality and a conflict. Why it happens? By egoistically identifying. I egoistically identify with and clinging to a specific action and the expectation. That causes the problem. So if I do not identify, how I do not identify? It should be a self-less action, not a selfish. What is the selfless action? It is a free from attachment, non-identification. That is why we say karma yoga is the second step in this text taught by our great master. It results into path of freedom. Freedom means what? Peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. So what we need to summarize, if I want to summarize, so it is a conscious action. Karma yoga involves acting with a skill, means what is my duty? I am conscious of it. Let me offer my peace and happiness to you. Let me express every activity out of the peace and happiness. So there is a pure intention inside. How the intention is built in the mind. Just think of it. I'm going to the sun house. Okay. So let me offer peace and happiness to everyone there. I will not speak anything which can cause reaction, anger. I have nothing to do with their personal life, except I have one thing to do, is to express my peace and happiness. They have invited me, I welcome them, for example. We'll talk. Thank you.